Talk about the Shema, just the first sentence, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. So to start with, what does that mean? So start with just the translation. Shema, listen or to hear. Yisrael refers to the nation Israel. Adonai, just Hashem or God. Eloheinu, it's like Elohim, our God. Adonai, God. Echad, one. But there's more to these words than just the actual translation. Shema doesn't necessarily mean just to hear something, but really understand what I'm saying here. Yisrael, like our nation, everyone in this nation needs to understand this concept. Hashem, or God, but really in this case it can translate to master, like the master of the world. Eloheinu is our God. The master is one, but not just one, but echad, unique. Actually, we get the idea of the word echad translated to unique from the big dalet at the end. Big dalet echad, like it's just there's only one. There's none other like it, and it's just a very unique. And so another thing you can do with the enlarged letters is at the end of Shema with the ayin and the dalet at the end spells aid, which is witness. So we are witnesses that this is true, that this what we're talking about here is true. Kabbalists actually say that the phrase Hashem Echad at the end means like the whole world is made up of Hashem. So when we close our eyes to internalize that feeling strongly, and we open our eyes, we see the whole world in a whole new way as being all Hashem, not just like we look and see like, oh, this is God, that is God, but like really everything that there is and was and will be is God. And so why is it that we cover our eyes, other than just like we're trying to imagine, as the Kabbalists say, but what on a level that really we can more understand do we cover our eyes? So the Gemara in Brachos on Yud Gimel Amud Bet says, Rebbe Yehuda Hanasi covered his eyes during the Shema so he wouldn't be distracted and he could concentrate. So he was trying to focus more on what he was saying than on the world around him. He was trying to help him focus. He was covering his eyes. But something a little more deep that the Maharal says is that we close our eyes because the suffering around us, it makes it more difficult to concentrate on the reality that the whole world is God. So this means like when you look around, you might see things that are bad in life, that are like, you see things that are painful, you see death, you see destruction. But you really need to be able to close your eyes and internalize what God is, and that God is more than just the pain, the death, and destruction. God is unique and special, and He's making the world great for us. It's not just about the pain and the destruction. So actually, I ran across a question last year in a Chumash test, in Petsy Novik's class, those of you who know her. So the question was, why do we cover our eyes when we recite the Shema? So there was an answer she was looking for, some source that wasn't interesting to me. When looking back on the test, though, I saw this answer that I gave, and I'm going to read it to you word for word. When you imagine God, what do you see? Maybe a crown, maybe a throne, maybe an attractive, muscular man. But I believe that if you see nothing, you realize that everything is God. Imagine a clear blue sky with wispy clouds. God is that open expanse, but also a keyhole or a small crevice. God is that small space. God is everywhere, and you need to see nothing before you can see anything. So God is everything, and God is everywhere. And you might start thinking, oh, that song, Hashem is here, Hashem is there, Hashem is truly everywhere. But that seems to be giving God like a place on this physical earth. But really, God has no place on this physical earth. Like if you ask the question, can God create a rock that even He can't lift? And there is no basis for that question because God doesn't exist in the physical realm and doesn't exist with these rocks that we have in our life. It's like asking 1 + 1 = 2. Is this grammatically correct? It doesn't line up. So looking back on what I said before, you need to see nothing before you can see anything. Like I find this to be like powerful. It's kind of conceited for me to say that I find my own answer very powerful, but like I think this is a very powerful answer. Like we close our eyes to see nothing before we can see anything, before we can see that God is more than just this idea and God is more than just here or there. We have this emotional, spiritual connection with this spiritual, not physical being. Like similar to like why do we close our eyes when we kiss someone? Because even though there's a clear physical connection that if you open your eyes you can see, there's more than that. You're using the physical connection as an intermediary for the emotion, for the emotion, the passion, and the love. And so when we cover our eyes for the Shema, our goal is to use the physical bodies we're given. We're saying words, but we're using it to proclaim our emotional and spiritual connection to God. Thank you.